In this video, we're going to look at percentages. So the first thing we want to consider are multiplying factors. And a multiplying factor is used to directly multiply a quantity to increase or decrease it by a desired percentage. The key to this is that the original quantity is always 100%. So if we're increasing by 20%, that changes our 100% into 120%. And if we convert 120% into decimal, it's 1.2. And this is our multiplying factor. Similarly, if we're decreasing by 10%, that changes our 100% into 90%, so we write it as a multiplying factor of 0.9. So if we're increasing 100% by 25%, that goes to 125%, and as a multiplying factor, that's 1.25. To decrease by 50%, that's going to take our 100% to 50%, which then a multiplying factor is 0.5. Increasing by 1% is going to take our 100% to 101%, which is a decimal, is 1.01. Decreasing by 0.75%, that's going to take your 100% to 99.25%. And as a multiplying factor, that's 0.9925. To keep a quantity the same, we're going to keep it as 100%. And 100% as a decimal is 1, so we'd multiply by 1. And doubling a quantity, you're going to add on an extra 100%, which takes you to 200%. And that's going to be an effect of multiplying by 2. Our next example then, increase 120 by 7.5%. So if we are considering our 120 as 100%, increasing it by 7.5% is going to take you to 107.5%, which means your multiplying factor is 1.075. So we can do 120 multiplied by 1.075, and that gives us 129. To decrease 190 kilograms by 80.5%, so the 190 kilograms is 100%. If we're decreasing 100% by 80.5%, we're going to get 19.5%. which is 0.195. So we do 190, multiply by 0.195, put that into our calculator, and we get 37.05 kilograms. Example 10, a television is priced at 430 and reduced by 15%, find the sale price. So we've got 100% and we're taking away 15%, gives us 85%. So we'll do 430 multiplied by the 85% as a multiplying factor, which is 0.85. And that's going to give us 365.5. That's what the calculator reads, but because this is currency, we need to include our units of pounds, so 365, and we need to go to 2 decimal places. Remember, we always need 2 decimal places with currency. Example 11, a workforce of 550 is to be increased by 8%. So our 100% is going to be increased by 8%, and that's going to be 108%, and as a multiplying factor, that's 1.08. So we'll do 550 multiplied by 1.08, which gives us 594. So the new workforce is going to be 594 strong. Percentage change. So percentage change, or percentage profit, or percentage loss, is the actual change, profit or loss, divided by the original amount. So if we know the original amount and we know the end amount, the change is found by subtracting those. And then if you divide by the original and multiply by 100, that'll give you the percentage. So example 12, a car is bought for 7,500 and sold for 3,850. So we need to work out the actual change. So the change is 7,500 minus 3,850, which is 3,650. So the percentage change is going to be the actual change, so 3,650 divided by the original amount of 7,500 multiplied by 100, and that gives us 48.7% to 1 decimal place. example 13, a diamond is bought for 1,500 and sold for 2,100. What's the percentage profit? So we need to find the actual profit. So the profit is going to be 2,100 minus 1,500. So that's £600. So percentage profit is going to be the actual profit of 600 divided by the original amount, which is 1,500, multiplied by 100, which gives 40% profit. Finding the original amount. So the original amount is always considered to be the 100%. If an item is either increased or decreased in value, it'll be worth more or less than the original 100%. So we set this up as an equivalence equation, or we can use a ratio to find the actual amount. So what we've got in these questions is the original is always worth our 100%. And we can either be increasing it by a certain amount, or we can decrease it by a certain amount. And then the new percentage will be equivalent to the value. And by setting that up as an equation and using proportion, we can work out what the full 100% was. So example 14, with VAT of 20%, a TV costs $449. Now VAT is value added tax. So that's a tax that has been added to it. So if originally we've got 100% and we add on our 20%, that gives us 120%. And that's going to be equal to the TV cost of $449. We want to work out what 1% is, and to do that, to get from 120 to 1, we divide by 120. Do the same with 449. If we divide 449 by 120, we get 3.741667, and then multiply them by 100 to get up to 100%. And we get 100% is 374.17, and it'll be 0.17 to 2 decimal places because it's currency, and the 6 will round the 6 up to a 7. So it's £374.17. Example 15, and a 30% sale. So in a 30% sale, 30% has been taken off. So if the original is 100%, and we've taken away 30%, then we've got 70%. And that 70% is going to be equivalent to £27.30. So we can work out 1% divided by 70. So 1% is going to be 0.39, and then we multiply by 100 to get 100%, and we get that 100% is going to be £39. So this shirt originally was £39. Now we could have done this a different way, and if we've got 30% sale, then the multiplying factor would be 70% as 0.7. So we've got 100% originally, we take away 30%. That means we've got 70%, which has a multiplying factor of 0.7. So that means we've got 0.7 multiplied by some original value. So we could call that x. So 0.7 multiplied by the original value is going to give £27.30. So to get the original value x, we could divide by 0.7. And that will get us our £39. So that's a different way of setting it up, where you need to work out your new percentage value to get your multiplying factor, and then calling the original amount x. And we can see that the answer doesn't change, it's the same answer, it's just a slightly different technique.